That's okay. Got a big crowd today. I'm Terry Bruner. I'm the director of the City of Albuquerque's Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency, and we're here today to talk about Ocotillo Ridge and the new apartments, townhomes here that are so exciting to us at the city. You know, at Metropolitan Redevelopment, we buy, sell, redevelop, incentivize properties across the city and our metropolitan redevelopment areas to try to get those areas redeveloped, going again, incentivized. We've got a lot of great stuff going on in this area of Central, the Broadstone, the De Anza. Those are all former and current MRA projects, and now this has been added to the list in a sense. But we have a lot of other good stuff going on in housing across the city. Just last week, the mayor announced a bunch of new improvements to how we look at planning around these projects and building permits to really expedite the housing that we want to see and meet that housing gap that's out there. So without further ado, I wanted to have our mayor, Tim Keller, come up and say a few words about today's event.
All right, thanks, Terry. All right, well, good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful morning to do a ribbon cutting and also talk about some of the wonderful things that we are doing to lift up our city. So a couple of thoughts just as we get started. Certainly we're going to hear from some of the other people involved in this project, but I want to thank the neighbors for their input and their support for projects like this, and we'll hear from some of them. Also, the Nob Hill Business District I know is floating around, and so we always appreciate all they do. And our Metropolitan Redevelopment team. So this is literally why we created the department, why we hired all the folks who work there, is to do amazing projects like this. So I do just want to pause and thank Terry and his team. Good job. And I think no surprise to anyone here, but our city is in the midst of a housing crisis. We really focused on this last year from a policy perspective. And we said basically we need 20,000 new units of housing in Albuquerque across the board from every size of housing and really in every part of the city. But we also know that we needed private sector developers and entrepreneurs to help with that. The city, there's no way we can build 20,000 units of housing. So, what we're doing is sort of focusing on what we can with respect to converting hotels and things to apartments. That's what the city's doing for affordable housing. Then we partner on other projects like the one up the street. It's about, I think, 50 plus units at the Highlander right up the street. And then we also try and essentially incentivize through financial incentives private developers to do what they want to do, which is what we see right here today. And also we love seeing it in some of these many empty dirt lots that we've always had all over our city. Wouldn't it be great if people could actually live there in an awesome house or townhome? And so this is a great example of that vision of how we want to fill up all those spaces that dot our city with houses. So for us too, want to acknowledge Sunlight Homes, who we're going to hear from, has done a great job too prioritizing sustainability. So whether it's the LEED Platinum certification or the low water use, high efficiency heating, and even electric car charging stations ready, this is really what we want all housing to be going forward. So we really appreciate the way they wove together, sort of the finances, but also the sustainability aspects, so important to what we're trying to do to reduce our carbon footprint and do our part to reduce climate change. Now, lastly, I want to touch on, this is sort of higher density housing. So we're here, more or less in Nob Hill, kind of where Nob Hill meets the International District, right near Highland High School. And so we do want more density, right? It doesn't make sense to put like 2 houses here. And so that's why we love this townhome concept. It's really a good fit for this part of town and also supports a lot of folks who are in that stage of life or phase of life where this works for them. It could be sort of, maybe post-professional or pre-professional or really anywhere in between, but it's a really good fit for this part of town. So I think with that, what we'll do is continue with our agenda, but I also want to acknowledge for many of us too, this is obviously the home of our families, and I hear children playing right over there, because I think that is literally my nephew's daycare. And I know that Sunlight Homes is a family business, so his family's here today as well as his daughter. And so that's extra special because we need to remember the people who actually are building our city are also the people raising our families here. And so a wonderful example of that today with Sunlight. All right, Terry, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I think next we're going to hear from Sunlight Homes, and actually, I'm sorry, I skipped one of them. I have a couple more remarks I wanted to make about MRA's involvement in this project. So this is a public-private partnership between MRA and the developer, where we offered up a tax abatement for 7 years, which is the equivalent of about 165. It's worth about $165,000 over time. And these tax abatements that we're offering are relatively new for MRA. For what it really is doing is helping developers, get a little extra push into that development, make their numbers work a little bit better by giving them a break on their taxes. We have another project across the way on Adams and Central, the 66, that is going to be an apartment complex that also takes advantage of property tax abatements. It's something that's being used around the country as an innovative and relatively easy way to motivate development. And this project also meets our Central Highland Upper Nob Hill MRA plan goals to increase residential density along these transitional areas in and among Central Avenue area here, and also get people closer to the amenities the mayor mentioned, like daycare, Highland High School, and other things that exist, the Coral Community Charter School, things like that. That proximity to amenities is really important on these housing developments. I also want to mention, for those of you that have lived here a long time, you know that there's this strip of dirt properties that kind of are behind these antique stores and such, and have been here for as long as I've lived here, for a quarter century. These were never developed. As I understand it, Evan had to drag utilities on these sites because they never existed before. And that's crazy in a city of our size, in the center of the city here, to have lots that are still dirt, still undeveloped at this point in time. So hopefully we see this incentivize others to come in and maybe take a second look at developing vacant lots that are out there. So without further ado, I wanted to bring up Evan Davis of Sunlight Homes to talk a little bit more about his project.
Good morning. I want to start by saying thank you for being here. This project is a very big deal for me, and it means the world for me to have all of you here to celebrate its completion. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here. A little about me. I'm a third generation born and raised in Albuquerque. I grew up not far from here on Hermosa. I live currently in the Hyder Park neighborhood. My brother Andy went to Highland behind me. My daughter Romy dances at NDI right down the street, so I would very much consider this my community. I graduated from UNM School of Architecture in 2007, and I got my contractor's license soon after that. I purchased this lot in 2022 and got about designing this. This is a 20-unit townhome development. It is 5 buildings. Each of them is 4 units. 3 of the buildings are 2-bedroom floor plans, and 2 of the buildings are 1-bedroom floor plans. The 2-bedroom units are 1,056 square feet. The 1-bedroom units are 801 square feet. It is LEED Platinum, which is no small task. They said a little bit more about what that entails, but suffice to say it kind of employs sustainability and energy efficiency best practices in design and building. I have 2 units open. This unit and the unit behind us is open to tour in case any of you want to take a look. There's refreshments in the refrigerators, so help yourself if you feel so inclined. I would like to say a few thank yous. First to Daniel Kearney with Resolute Real Estate. He helped me find and purchase this property, so thank you to him. I would like to thank Sandia Labs Federal Credit Union and Priscilla Pollock and Dan Cover for helping with financing on this project. They have a really wonderful multifamily financing department, and they have been an absolute pleasure to work with, and I couldn't have done it without them, so thank you. I'd like to thank Sierra and Lithgow and the MR Group. The tax abatement program is a really helpful piece of the puzzle to help a project like this pencil, so thank you, Sierra. And also thank you for making this ribbon cutting happen. And my previous projects, I feel like I've been kind of working in the shadows, and so this is kind of a nice way to kick me in the butt and get me a little exposure and get me out here. So thank you for making that happen. I would like to thank Brooke Kearney and Odin Management. Brooke is currently managing some of my other projects that I have built, and she is helping me lease and going to be managing this project as well. So thank you, Brooke. And lastly, I would like to thank my wonderful wife, Haley, and my daughter, Romy. So I designed and built this project by myself, and it turns out that's stressful at times. And so I would like to thank them for putting up with me over the last year and for all their love and support through this whole process. So thank you to them. Looking forward, I'm really excited to do more projects like this. I quit my previous day job and I'm now full-time multifamily development. I actually have another project over in the University Heights neighborhood that I have the property and I have a design and the engineering complete, so I'm going to be starting on that one as soon as this one's 100% and rented. It's a 16-unit townhome development, same kind of approach as this one, LEED Platinum. So I'm excited to get going with that. It is also in an MRA, so maybe we'll have a chance to have another ribbon cutting for that one as well when it's done. And lastly, I would like to say I've always been a huge cheerleader for Albuquerque. I love my city. I love the weather. I love the culture. I love the access to the outdoors. And I have a lot of hope for this city. And I feel like in a lot of ways this project is my love and hope for the city physically manifest. I hope that the love and care that I've put into building it comes across, and I hope that it inspires other people to feel the same about the city that I do. So thank you.
Thanks, Evan. Well said, well said. So we're going to keep nudging you, Evan. We're going to keep trying to push you to move on more and more projects. We need more folks doing development like you are. Thank you. Next up, we are really interested in always having our projects jibe well with what's going on in the neighborhood, and we have Nick Hamill here from the Fair West Neighborhood Association to talk about what this means for them.
Hi there, thanks for inviting me. My name's Nick Hamill. I'm president of Fair West. I live there. I work as a nurse here in Albuquerque. A lot of neighbors are interested in seeing what private-public partnerships can do to improve not just our own neighborhood, but also surrounding ones. So thanks for inviting me and letting me get this information. I'll share it with neighbors and try and get support for having this also be supported by the community in Fair West. Thanks.
All right, any questions before we proceed to the ribbon cutting?
Cut the ribbon and then.
Oh, we'll do ribbon first, okay. So ribbon cutting next.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna drag this out of the way.
Let's grab this.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
You guys want to scoot around so whoever wants to be in the picture, some of you should, if not all of you.
There.
Okay.
Any other folks want to jump in? I'm so sorry. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry about that. That's all right. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, Mark.
Hey,
We know when everybody's set. You guys good? All right. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, help yourself.
Take the tour.